I've been building online side hustles for, I guess, over 20 years now. Some of them made money and most of them didn't. But the ones that didn't were mostly my own fault, not because the plan didn't work. Since we're getting close to the end of the year, I've started thinking about my plans for next year now. Part of that is going back through reviews and planning notes and things from past years and seeing all the things that I planned to do and the things that worked out and the things that didn't work out so well. So I thought I'd share my 5 biggest takeaways from the last 20 some odd years of doing this. If you're thinking about starting an online side hustle of some sort yourself, or maybe changing something that you're already doing, hopefully some of my experience can help. And just to be clear, this is absolutely not a get-rich video at all. I'm not going to talk about any particular business model or type of side hustle, but these tips will help no matter what you have in mind. So tip number 1, there's always something that looks more interesting or seems more exciting or sounds like it has more potential than what you're doing right now. When I was a kid, my mom used to tell me faraway fields always look greener. Anytime I wanted something new or something different than I already had. It's been a long time since I heard that from her, but I still think about it pretty often. And it applies to side hustles and business models every bit as much as it did to the latest toy or popular brand of shoes or whatever it is I wanted when I was a kid. New platforms, new tools, trends, new business models, it really never stops. That's one of the things about building on the internet. Technology is constantly changing. I don't know that I'd say it's constantly improving necessarily, but it's definitely constantly changing. The trick isn't getting in on the ground floor of some new system or new technique. It's ignoring those things to stay focused on what you're already doing, at least long enough to see if it's actually going to work out for you. I hate to think about all the things that I've done over the last 20 plus years that I gave up on before they actually had a chance to work. This new YouTube channel that I'm building is a good example. My first attempt at YouTube was, sometime around 2011 or 2012, I think. I was making videos with an early iPhone, probably a 3GS, and just kind of a cobbled together studio in the corner of my home office. I don't remember how many videos I published before I moved on to whatever the next great thing was, but I've already posted more here, I'm sure, than I did back in the day. Who knows where I'd be now if I'd stuck with it long enough to let it actually get some traction back then. I probably wouldn't be starting a new channel all over again nearly 15 years later, that's for sure. Pivoting to something new is exciting and it gives you a good hit of dopamine, but it just kills any momentum that you've got going. Stick with one thing long enough to really see whether or not it works for you. Tip number 2, your early progress is going to be slow and uncomfortable, and you're probably going to deal with some degree of imposter syndrome. The other challenge of sticking with something long enough to actually let it work or to see if it will work is that it's probably slow going at first. Your subscriber count won't go up very fast. This channel's a perfect example of that, at least at the point I'm recording this video. Or you won't get many signups for your email list. I've sent email newsletters to just 1 or 2 people so many times over the years. And you're going to feel uncomfortable if you're doing something new, and you might feel some imposter syndrome too. I talked about imposter syndrome in more detail in another recent video, so I'll include a link up in the corner here if you want to take a look at that one. If you follow many other people in the same market to learn yourself, it's easy to start comparing yourself to them. Your videos won't be as polished, your writing won't flow as well, or whatever it is you're doing, it just won't feel like it's up to the same standard. That's totally normal though when you're doing something new. Those people have been doing it longer and they've built those skills, but it's still easy to compare yourself to them. The takeaway here is that you're probably going to feel overwhelmed with the work you're doing and kind of underwhelmed with the results for a while. Don't get discouraged and just pivot to something different to avoid that discomfort. Lean into it and use that time when you're mostly invisible to the rest of the world to learn and improve. Tip number 3, providing value is really the only thing that lasts. Whatever business model you're pursuing, you're probably going to see people that are sharing hacks that are going to help you shortcut all the hard work and make things easy and fast. I've seen so much of this stuff over the years. Hacking the YouTube algorithm or hacking growth on Substack or SEO hacks to rank higher in Google. The focus changes as the platforms and technologies change, but they're all about shortcuts to avoid doing the hard work that you really have to do to be successful. And the problem is, even if those things work, they're not going to work for long. At some point, enough people start hacking the system to make the system owner notice and close the loophole. 20 years ago, I was building small websites on all kinds of different topics. The content on them was actually pretty bad for the most part. Really, the only ones that had anything of value were the ones that I had some personal interest or knowledge about and enjoyed writing. But back in the day, it was relatively easy to rank pages in Google for these obscure keywords that still got enough traffic that they would generate a reasonable income from ads and affiliate links and things. But the end result is that Google was full of these low-quality sites that really only existed to get people to click on ads. There was no value for the visitors that landed on the sites, only the site owners that actually got the ad money. Even the advertisers weren't really getting any value because people only clicked the ads to get away from the site, and that was the most obvious way. So Google fixed its algorithm to effectively ban those sites. I had sites that were making $200 or more a day drop to zero overnight. If I'd spent the same amount of time working on one of those sites that I actually had some interest in, I have no doubt it would have survived those updates and it would have been a long-term success. Don't start with the income potential for a side hustle in mind. Start with what value you can offer other people. Sure, pick something that has some income potential if that's what your ultimate goal is, but it absolutely shouldn't be your first priority. Plus, you'll burn out on it if it's something you're really not interested in, and that's when all those hacks and shortcuts are going to start to look more attractive. Tip number 4, don't build on someone else's land. I've used a lot of different platforms to reach an audience over the last 20 years. Some of them are still going strong, like Facebook and Quora and YouTube. Some of them are around, but maybe in a different form, like Twitter or X if you prefer. And some are long gone, like Google Plus or a website I used to use called easyinarticles.com. You never know what's going to happen with those platforms. Yeah, I expect YouTube's going to be here for a while, but if Google decided to shut it down one day, I don't have any control over that. If that happened and the only place I could connect with my audience was on this site, all of the work that I put into building that audience would be out the window. I wouldn't have a way to move them over to a new platform or even to let them know where I'd gone. And it's not just sites changing focus or shutting down. If your account gets banned or shut down for some reason, you could lose all access to the work that you've done there. Years ago now, Facebook closed an advertising account I had. I must have done something they didn't like, but I don't know what it was. And trying to find out and how I could fix it, it just went nowhere. They basically just told me the account was closed and that was that. If that had been the only place that I was getting sales and traffic from, it just would have wiped out that side hustle completely. The takeaway here is to build something of your own alongside what you're doing on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or any other platform that you don't control. They're more effective for reaching an audience than trying to build something of your own from scratch. But as soon as you start getting some momentum, come up with a way to get people to sign up for your email list or something else that gives you the control over the communication channel. And tip number 5, don't just copy what someone else did. If you're trying to start an online side hustle, you're probably watching a bunch of YouTube videos or reading a bunch of Substacks or other blogs, listening to podcasts, and basically learning as much as you can wherever you can find it. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you have to start somewhere and learn some basics so that you know how to get started. But the catch is if you copy someone else's system, you're probably not going to get the same results they did, even if you follow it exactly. If they did it at a different time, they might bring different skills to the table. They might be in another part of the world. They might just have a different perspective on the whole thing than you do. That doesn't mean you can't be as successful, but you should put your own spin on what you're doing. What do you bring to the table that would be valuable to other people? Plus, if you copy someone else's approach exactly, why would someone follow you instead of the person that you're copying? I've done this more times than I want to admit over the years. I'd get interested in some new business model or some new topic, and I'd start following people in it to learn. start doing the same things that are working for them, build an audience of people doing the same thing from what I'm saying. Before you know it, it's just this big giant echo chamber with a whole bunch of people that are all following each other, saying effectively the same thing, and really just kind of propping each other up. If you want to build a long-term side hustle that could maybe become your main source of income one day, look for ways to make yourself unique. The best way to protect yourself from competition is to make yourself the competitive advantage. Other people might talk about the same things or sell the same products, but they can't be you. If they don't find their own competitive edge, they're just going to end up being a cheap knockoff of you. I've learned a lot over the last 20 years, but most of the mistakes I've made boil down to one or more of these 5 things in this video. Hopefully, something in this video will pop into your head when you're facing those same kinds of choices and help you avoid the same mistakes that I made. And if something here did resonate for you, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. It'll help these videos be seen by more people that may also need to hear it. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, my name's John. I'm redesigning some parts of my life that aren't really very aligned for me anymore, and I'm sharing what I learn along the way. Hopefully some of my mistakes and aha moments can help you too. I'll see you in the next video.